Lone Lobster 18 of the Wolf Brotherhood, the #1 clan of Spies vs. Mercs on Xbox. You may not know me yet, but hopefully by the end of this video you will see why you can trust me. First, I cannot move without venting the frustrations of the SC community. We have all heard the rumors from people who have shown credibility in the past, but what happened? We all watched E3 and we waited for some kind of a hint. I figured you wouldn't make a big to-do about it, but just a little wave to the fans saying, hey, it's true, we haven't forgotten about you. But I do appreciate then when pressed in an interview, CEO Yves Guillemot actually said that they were working on all Tom Clancy games, and they haven't forgotten Splinter Cell, so that will do.
And one thing that a lot of fans ask about is Splinter Cell. Will we see Splinter Cell come back soon?
I can't say much about that, but for sure all the Clancy games are are taken care of. It's just we have quite a lot on our plate at the moment.
He also verified in another interview that they were receiving sketches, and as far as I can tell, that's a good sign. While processes differ from game to game, sketches usually don't come around until they are asked for, and they aren't asked for until they have the main gist of the story and a lot of other things figured out. So they're just looking for the artwork, so that's pretty solid along the development stages.
Fans have been clamoring to hear about Splinter Cell. Do you have anything more to add to your comments there?
Yeah, what we can say is that we are receiving lots of sketches and proposals around the brand, and we're going to pick one up. And I think you will be able to see something, but you will have to wait for that.
We know that Ubisoft put Splinter Cell on the back burner because of weak sales. But that was Ubisoft's fault for horrible timing, weak marketing compared to the other games coming out, and putting the game right out alongside many other over-marketed games. The sales didn't do well, but now the community is really tight. We all know each other, and with social media, our YouTube channel, and more, we have great communication. The real longtime diehards communicate regularly, and we think that maybe Ubisoft should honor us and take some of our advice. Let's talk about why we haven't seen any new Splinter Cell information released. There are some other games that Ubisoft wants to put more marketing attention to without the distraction of other games. If you mentioned Splinter Cell at that conference, Ubisoft, then we would have all lost it, and everything that you said from that point on, we wouldn't have cared about. I live streamed the event for all of our friends so we could have private chats without being washed away with bigger channels chat, which I recommend anyone subscribe to us so we can do that. Also, we have some insider information about a movie. We understand that you're still working on the movie, and I'm the vice president of a company, and I know about branding and marketing, and you want to capitalize on the cross-promotion of the game and the movie and tie the two together so the gamer can feel like he's part of the movie. That's awesome. Just don't make it cheesy. Let's qualify some things. You may not know me as well as the other 800 subs I had before I did this video, so let's help you understand who I am, who we are, and why I know what I know. I go by the gamer tag Lone Lobster 18. It was Microsoft generated, but I got so well known I couldn't change it. I admit it, I had a lot of time and worked my way to be ranked #1 on TDM on Xbox. That doesn't mean I'm the best. I know I'm not. I've just played a lot. I played all of the Splinter Cell games from the beginning. Yes, I am that old. In Conviction, I made a few friends, some of the best players the game has ever had the pleasure of hosting. I Bradley, Alpha Wolf 10, T10 Fraser, and a couple others. During Conviction, we played a lot, and we were so excited about the new Blacklist game, and we were also excited when we learned that we could create clans. One day, we decided to form a clan while we were in chat. We went with Wolf because it fit us well, and Alpha was such a good gamer, probably one of the top 3 players while in his prime. You're still awesome, Alpha. That we were okay going off his name as well. We registered in ShadowNet, which are very disappointed in how Ubisoft stopped maintaining it, and it's pretty effed up that we can't look at those stats. Well, when we got the game, most of the guys ran right to multiplayer. I stayed and did campaign, perfecting it for about 3 months before I started playing multiplayer. I admit it, I sucked at the beginning. It took me a long time to catch up to the curve of growth that my other clanmates had rode, and so I was a little bit of an anchor, I admit it. I did get better, and then I got a recorder. We then recruited some more members and developed a good group. As people sorted out and the clans either collapsed or stayed together, Wolf remained one of the top clans, and with respect to so many good clans and to God, we ended up beating out the other top clans to secure Wolf as #1. Our clan has led this game on Xbox console for the entire 4 years. Other clans fall apart, we stay together. Why? Because we are Wolf, and we embody those principles, and we play fair, respectfully, and we don't cheat. We got tired of seeing so many players cheat, and I took it as a personal responsibility and duty to make our clan dedicated to honorable gaming. We helped shape the community. Now we rest as a secure clan with amazing players, and really, we do this for the community. We record and document the history and future of Splinter Cell because we love it. So why do I know what I know? I have an old friend from high school who works in the gaming industry and has a good friend who worked on the Blacklist team. This friend of mine works on many different video games, but not specifically Splinter Cell. He did Call of Duty and many other big titles. But he has friends who work on other games, and this is why my buddy knew things. Because when they were creating Blacklist, at the same time they were also working to develop the storyline for the new Splinter Cell. It was about 2 or 3 years ago now that I had some great conversation where my friend told me what his friend had told him about the types of technologies and ideas that were going to be going into the game. I promised I wouldn't say anything until Ubisoft made an announcement, but I kind of think like Ubisoft made a slight little announcement about it at the last E3, so I don't feel too bad giving this information away. I decided to go to Ubisoft Toronto, the studio where they worked on Blacklist and are working on the new game. To my surprise, I didn't even think they were really expecting me, but there were some signs that let me know that the radar had picked me up. I drove through Toronto. I was a bit early on my schedule, and I was coming off of thick hotel coffee, so I figured I would just dive into the local cafe across the street to poo. To be honest, I had to go really bad. I ran right into that cafe, ran to the bathroom, and I destroyed the bathroom enough that I felt bad. I walked out of the bathroom and soon realized that there was another bathroom around the corner for men. Oops. So I quickly rushed out of there, and I went to the Ubisoft building and went up the 2 flights of stairs to a normally locked door, and I was buzzed in. I sat down in the waiting area, looked around, and then spoke with some of the people working there. We discussed Blacklist because they wouldn't talk about anything else. We talked about some of the things that they felt about it, and one of the employees said something along the lines of, well, the next Splinter Cell won't be like that. And that was a good enough confirmation for me at that point. Then I went outside to a bench and a table where people smoke, vape, and chill and eat lunch. There I joined them and struck up conversation, trying to be like I worked there, but not really. I got some cool information and some confirmations of what my friend told me. I promised that once again I would not say anything until there was an official announcement. I think it's important to let Ubisoft know what we didn't like, what we want, and what we don't want in the next Splinter Cell. The campaign was amazingly beautiful. The gameplay was fun, but the promise of play as you want and intelligent AI was all disappointment.
Now just need to lockpicking.
What happened to lockpicking? I have a friend who actually got into the lockpicking business and safe cracking because of what he learned in Splinter Cell. How about the computer hacking? Now we just wait a few seconds, when before we used to have to figure out a puzzle or something. That would add some great excitement if a guard is coming and you have to hurry up and finish the puzzle. The double wall jump, where you can straddle a narrow corridor and hide and DFA the guard that walks underneath us, that was awesome. Either way, people will beat the campaign enough times that they will end up coming to multiplayer to live out the rest of their interest in that game. Let's talk about better maps. Well, let's talk about more maps. How many times can I play 6 maps over and over again? There are games with 10 maps and more. Another thing I'd like to talk about is distinguishing between concealment and cover. Concealment is when you cannot see me. I am concealed behind a wall or a desk, but the thing I am hiding behind would not stop a bullet. So weapons should be able to shoot through things that are thin or are only for concealment. Cover is something you can be behind that is bulletproof. It could be bulletproof glass and you can see me, but you can't shoot me. I'm behind cover. There needs to be more of that difference, and the line should be crisp and clear. Splinter Cell multiplayer is a remarkably balanced game of rock, paper, scissors. So with respect to that, I understand that Ubisoft wants to have a handful of rocks, a handful of paper, and a handful of scissors, and try to keep all those different items balanced. Now Ubisoft, I'm very upset about how you left us hanging, and I know the community wants to hear something, so I'm going to let something out of the bag. But I will do it in a way that doesn't totally blow up your spot. So here's a mixture of what the community wants, what I want, and what our sources have told us. Keep in mind, some of this information may be 3 to 4 years old, some of it is less than a year old. Splinter Cell is known for taking some of the most revolutionary and far-reaching approaches to gaming. Many of the gaming world's greatest advances came from the revolutionary ideas of Splinter Cell. Let's talk about what we know 100%. We do know that there will be a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game, and it's probably aimed for shelves somewhere around the mid to end of 2018. I'm not holding my breath because it may go over schedule like it has in the past. I'm okay with waiting as long as it's amazing. I'm also excited for the new Splinter Cell movie. From what I understand, Tom Hardy and Michael Ironside are both playing major parts in this. I'm really excited to see how that goes along, and I also think that Splinter Cell would make a great regular TV show. Let's talk about the weapons. And this is one thing I love tremendously about Ubisoft and the franchise. These guys actually messed around with most of these weapons and measured them with professional marksmen to see how they felt, how they reacted, and how their pull was, etc. to try to copy that into the game. Of course, they made some changes to exaggerate things to fit in with the scope of the rocks, paper, scissors. Everything has strengths and weaknesses, but the research they do is incredible. I love that. I know these guys have been measuring these weapons and learning their characteristics and using them to help model new weapons, and these weapons in the next Splinter Cell are going to feel and act more realistic than you've probably ever experienced before. The maps. I want varied terrain. I want some sneaky outdoor operations in different climates and areas. Let's penetrate a jungle into a forest camp of militants. Let's go through the mountains of Afghan and find some kush or something. Here are some things that my friend told me about when it comes to the maps and the environment. Now, keep in mind this is from earlier stage in development, so these things may be nixed or passed. Interactive environment. Expect Sam Fisher to really be able to interact with the environment much more. Chances are that if you're not careful, you will create noise if you're not careful what you step on or what you move with. But you will be able to shoot things, and if they're explodable, they'll explode. You can really use the environment in ways you couldn't before. There may be more of a sandbox type platform, which will be more like what we see with Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, and Splinter Cell. Well, there will be more expansive maps, but with close quarter feelings. I'm not sure how this will look or feel, but I'm excited to hear that the maps will be much more open, and I'm sure it won't be in every map. I heard the word expansive. I don't know completely what that means, but with what I heard when I was at Ubisoft, and from what I gather, there will be situations where an action you have will have a reaction down the road. They are trying to create many options to how to handle the game so that each time you play it, it has an opportunity to be completely different depending on how you handle a situation. Like when you have those games where you're forced to make a decision, if you make this decision, your gameplay goes this way, and if you make a different decision, the gameplay will go this way. I hope for many options because Blacklist seemed limited. It could have something to do with even building and maintaining relationships and alliances with others, and this leads me to another idea I heard. The campaign. We'll pick up where Blacklist left off. We still have more work to do with Kobin and Kestrel. Kestrel will be waking up soon, we hope, and I would expect some interesting relationships and twists. We may have stopped the engineers, but who is really behind all the Blacklist attacks? We have so much further to go down the storyline, and it lends to more sophisticated weaponry and gadgets and more missions to be accomplished. I expect much travel in the game as we explore conspiracy and reality and confuse the two to create an expansive storyline. I look forward to this very much. I heard that there will be a bit of combination between campaign and multiplayer. I'm not sure what that is, but imagine the campaign on more of a multiplayer platform, like the AI might be multiplayer players. I'm trying to, and I don't know what it means. What do you think? Graphics. I've been seeing some amazing graphics and skin, and Splinter Cell no doubt will use some of its finest. Splinter Cell is known for experimentations. The lens flare was cool, but to be honest, kind of annoying. It was pretty, but it got in my way. Like, if I'm Sam Fisher, there's not a camera guy following me, so I don't need to look at it through the lens of a camera. The mechanics of character are really awesome. Fortunately, one of Ubisoft's best mocap or motion capture studios is in Toronto. Mocap is where they get the actors to put a bunch of little white balls on them and the cameras track them to make movement fluid. This technology and the capabilities of it is getting so good that the motion is becoming almost flawless. The cool thing about Ubisoft is that they're using the best of the best actors and trained martial artists to do mocap. From the way the character draws a weapon, stands like a boss, takes a hit, melees, takedowns, DFAs, and all these things are done by the best movers of the trade. Weapon experts show how to use weapons, and they move them with grace and the ease of a true master that Sam Fisher is. These professionals bring so much to the game, I can't wait to see how these characters move and act. I am told that there will be many aspects that reflect older style of Splinter Cell, but I was also told that Ubisoft was limited to the capabilities and technologies of older games, and so they worked with those confines of those games, but the old-timers loved it. But now, they are looking into new technologies and expand on them. There are many things that we can do with characters we couldn't do before, and Ubi wants to keep pushing the envelope. So while there will be things that are the same, there will be things that are different. Multiplayer will keep the original Spies vs. Mercs style, but not as confining as Chaos Theory or Double Agent. Spies will have SMGs and weapons that many disagree with, but I think that we will find a cool new balance and good players adapt to all. I know many people are resistant to change, but it's a part of life and evolution. We will probably lose some of the different modes that we had in Blacklist, or there might be different versions of something similar. I hope to have a face-off like in Conviction to have good 1v1s. Let's talk about some other exciting things. Project Scorpio, which we now know is the Xbox One X. The graphics, first off, is what it totes, making all games past and present look better, which is great because I can't wait to bring my old Splinter Cell games into the new console. The other cool thing that it allows for is more expansiveness in terms of capabilities. It can grow in its adaptability as well. Now, this is the most exciting part that I've been keeping in and been holding on to the end. Ubisoft has worked hard with the PlayStation and Xbox consoles to create something amazing for us. We know Ubisoft had Spider-Bot game for our phones to work with Blacklist, and that was kind of lame. We know that Ubisoft likes to package Splinter Cell with some cool gear, like the Paladin, which I did not get because I knew that I would have done what everyone else did, which was wreck it in 2 seconds and then have a broken piece of crap that I paid for. Okay, so here's the exciting information I heard, and as much as I want to build the suspense, let's just get into it. I want you guys to discuss this also. We all love Sam Fisher and those iconic multi-vision trifocal goggles. We have all wanted to pull them down over our eyes and see a Sam Fisher. Now just imagine, for the first time ever, you will now be able to pull down your very own Sam Fisher goggles. But check it out. VR goggles. VR headset. Wait, what? Now, this is an idea I heard a long time ago, but it seems to be a big deal at the time, and judging by what I've seen as future trends, I think this is right up Splinter Cell's alley. Would you die to have a virtual reality Splinter Cell goggles? Do you understand that means that many parts of the game we will be able to be played with a VR headset? Please let this be true. And when GameBeat asked Eve, they said, do you think further into the future about things like augmented reality that we might have in 5-10 years? And Eve Gilmont said, augmented reality is coming, certainly. We have few players coming in with very good glasses. I'm looking forward to being impressed by that, but it takes a bit of time. It will be part of the ecosystem. It's different to say what eventually becomes the biggest part of the industry. We like very much that the consoles are so successful now. They're coming back as major entertainment systems. Interactivity is going to become a major force in the entertainment as a whole. With that, I'm pretty much ready to close up. So, I do not expect to hear anything at Gamescom other than what we've already heard here, and maybe a couple little hints, but I feel like we'll be seeing more at the next Splinter Cell E3 2018. I think we can expect a new game at the end of 2018 around the holidays. Maybe it'll be delayed, but that's okay because thinking about them working on Splinter Cell virtual reality gets me very excited, and I'm okay with waiting for that awesomeness. The only thing that makes me okay is knowing that there's the awesome VR headset that we may get in the likeness of Sam Fisher's goggles. On topping that, playing Splinter Cell in a virtual reality world would be sick. I'm okay for the wait for that, but one more map on Blacklist multiplayer would give us enough excitement to hold us over. And by the way, Ubisoft, the new logo is stupid. It looks like the top view of a piece of poop. I hope this isn't a sign of where Ubisoft is headed, which is just not a good choice. Anyway, with that, I'm signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like our channel for the latest and greatest Splinter Cell news, because I promise you we will keep you updated with the latest news as soon as we get it. Alright? Take it easy, crew. Bye.
Yes, I'm thinking. you. Yep. Okay, a second.